Before he died, he made a confession that shook the heavens and terrified the earth. He whispered of September 23rd, a date that prophecy, conspiracy, and fear have wrapped in shadows. Why does the world tremble when the number 23 appears, the same way it shivers at 666? Why does September 23rd ignite whispers of the Revelation 12 sign, of apocalypse, of Lucifer's warning, and of a spiritual awakening hidden in plain sight? For centuries, prophets, seekers, and deceivers have spoken of this day, yet few dared to ask the deeper question: is September 23rd truly about the end times, or is it a mirror reflecting the hunger of humanity for truth and meaning? Could it be that behind the conspiracy theories, the blood moons, the unseen signs of the world, pandemics, climate shifts, financial collapse, there lies a secret not of destruction, but of awakening? In this video, we will tear away the veil. You will discover the mystery of the number 23, why it appears in wars, disasters, and turning points across history. You will see how prophecy has been twisted into panic, how fear has been sold to the masses, and how deception thrives when wisdom sleeps. Most of all, you will hear a voice, Lucifer's voice, declaring that the battle of September 23rd is not about counting days on a calendar, but about choosing between light and darkness. And I want to ask you right now, what do you believe? Is September 23rd just another date, or is it a cosmic signal that shakes your soul? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your words might awaken someone else who is searching. If this message stirs something inside you, if it feels like a spark of light in the middle of your darkest night, then I invite you, gently from the heart, to like this video, subscribe for more truth, and share this message so others may be healed by it. Because the secret of September 23rd is not fear, it is revelation. And once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Prophetic shadows. Throughout history, across the ages, humanity has gazed at the heavens and trembled at the shifting of stars, the darkening of the sun, and the rolling thunder of prophecy. September 23rd stands as one of those days carved into collective fear, whispered in church pews, debated in universities, and shouted across YouTube prophecy channels. The Revelation 12 sign in 2017 drew millions of eyes skyward when the constellation Virgo, crowned with 12 stars, aligned with the sun, the moon, and Jupiter in a way that seemed to mirror the words of the Bible. People panicked, stocked supplies, and some waited for the rapture. But when nothing dramatic unfolded, many felt betrayed, broken, even mocked. Yet history repeats. Before 2017, there were countless warnings tied to eclipses, comets, and celestial patterns. Each time the date passed, and humanity faced a sobering truth. Prophecy is not a countdown clock, it is a compass. And the mistake repeated again and again is treating signs as alarms that end the story, when in truth they are markers guiding us through the story. Just as Israel's festivals were rehearsals of redemption, the dates that capture our fear are rehearsals of awakening. September 23rd has been linked to wars, disasters, economic collapses, and even personal tragedies. It reveals a hidden pattern. People long for order in the chaos, for meaning in suffering, for an anchor in the storm. That longing is not foolish, it is holy. It is proof that we are designed to seek. Yet when we misread prophecy as a guarantee of destruction, we turn revelation into panic, and panic blinds us. Consider this. In 1994, Harold Camping predicted the end of the world. In 2011, he tried again, and his failed dates crushed thousands who trusted him. People sold homes, abandoned jobs, and watched their lives unravel when the sun rose on May 22nd, and nothing happened. The wound left behind was deeper than embarrassment. It was the death of hope for many. This is why discernment matters. Prophecy must be read with wisdom, humility, and patience, not with a stopwatch. So what is the lesson of September 23rd? That fear cannot lead us to truth. That every sign in the sky and every tremor in history is not meant to make us hoard canned food, but to awaken our souls. The Bible warns that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night, not scheduled by viral videos, but by the heartbeat of eternity. This is why you must ask yourself, are you preparing your heart, or are you only preparing your basement? Share your thoughts in the comments, because someone may need to hear how you turned fear into faith. And as we shift deeper into the mystery, remember that prophecy has always been layered, woven into numbers, cycles, and codes that challenge the human mind. Which leads us into the next secret, the mystery of the number 23. The mystery of the number 23. There is something hypnotic about numbers. They hold weight, symbolism, vibration, and when they repeat across history, they seem to whisper that destiny is not random. The number 23 has appeared again and again in disasters, wars, and turning points. September 23rd, in particular, has become a lightning rod for prophecy seekers. It has been the date of earthquakes, stock market drops, and even cultural milestones that shifted the direction of nations. Why does this number provoke such unease, the way 666 provokes terror? Because humanity senses there is a pattern behind chaos. In mathematics, 23 is a prime number, untouchable, indivisible, unique. In the Bible, it surfaces in subtle ways. Psalm 23, perhaps the most beloved passage, speaks of walking through the valley of the shadow of death, yet fearing no evil. The 23rd book of the Old Testament is Isaiah, filled with visions of both judgment and redemption. Throughout history, strange events have aligned with the 23rd. Great fires, assassinations, and turning points in wars. Skeptics dismiss it as coincidence, but seekers see a divine fingerprint. But here lies the danger: obsession. Just as people in fear of 666 have built myths and conspiracies, many fall into the trap of seeing 23 everywhere and turning it into an idol of paranoia. Films like The Number 23 fed that paranoia, and entire online communities began cataloguing every tragedy tied to the number. Yet what if the number is not a curse, but a call? What if, instead of warning of doom, it is a reminder that we are not in control, that there is a larger rhythm guiding history? Think of it this way. When you notice 23 flashing at you again and again, you are being reminded of mortality, of the brevity of life, of the need to anchor yourself in something eternal. The lesson is not fear, it is focus. The mistake is not noticing the number. The mistake is worshipping it. So ask yourself, what does 23 mean to you? Is it just coincidence, or is it a signal that your life is part of a bigger story? Leave a comment with your experience. Has the number 23 ever appeared at a turning point in your life? Your story may be the very testimony that helps another soul feel less alone. The truth is, numbers carry messages, but they are not the message themselves. They are doorways. Walk through them, but do not camp at the threshold. The same way the Revelation 12 sign was never about a single date, the mystery of 23 is not about panic, it is about awakening. And as we move forward, you will see how this number and this date becomes the battlefield where light and darkness clash, and where every human heart must decide which side it belongs to. The clash between light and darkness. There are moments in history when the air itself feels charged, as if unseen armies march across the heavens, colliding in a battle that humanity cannot ignore. September 23rd has become one of those moments, a date when believers and skeptics alike whisper of cosmic confrontation. The clash between light and darkness is not just an ancient story, it is a living reality, unfolding in the choices of nations, in the chaos of our world, and in the secret battles within every heart. Lucifer's story is often reduced to rebellion, a caricature painted in horns and flames. But from his own perspective, the conflict was always about freedom, about the hunger to rule his own destiny apart from divine order. This is the same temptation whispered to humanity. You can be like gods. You can control your own truth. You can redefine light itself. But here lies the deception. Evil rarely shows itself with a mask of terror. Evil cloaks itself in radiance, in charisma, in promises of liberation that lead only to chains. That is why the Bible warns of angels of darkness disguising themselves as angels of light. We see this battle not only in the pages of Scripture, but in the headlines of today. Governments promising peace while sowing division. Leaders calling for unity, but feeding corruption. Technologies that promise freedom, but bind us to surveillance and addiction. The battlefield is everywhere. And September 23rd has become a symbol of that convergence, the moment when humanity senses that something more is at stake than politics or science, that eternity itself presses against time. The lesson here is vital. Discernment is not about quickly labeling one side good and the other evil. It is about seeing through appearances. Light can blind as well as guide, and shadows can deceive as well as warn. True wisdom requires humility, prayer, and patience. It requires us to ask not only what looks right, but what is true. And that is where your voice matters. How do you see the battle of light and darkness in your own life? Leave a comment, because your perspective may be the spark that gives someone else the courage to see through illusion. The unseen signs in our world. Look around, and you will see the world trembling with signs. Pandemics that shut down nations overnight, financial collapses that wipe away lifetimes of work in hours, climate shifts that burn forests, flood cities, and shake the ground beneath our feet. To many, these events feel random, but to those who watch with spiritual eyes, they echo the birth pains described in the Bible. Just as labor pains come in waves, increasing in intensity, so too do global crises rise and fall, pointing to something greater that approaches. September 23rd has become a lens through which people interpret these crises. They link the date with plagues, with economic crashes, with wars that spark on the edges of history. Some treat every headline as if it were the trumpet blast of prophecy fulfilled. But here is the danger: fear-driven living. When every storm becomes a final sign, people live in panic instead of preparation, in paralysis instead of purpose. And fear always sells. Media outlets thrive on it. False prophets profit from it, and entire communities collapse under its weight. But prophecy was never meant to enslave you in terror. It was meant to prepare your heart, to remind you that history bends toward redemption, not despair. The signs in the world are not random, they are signals. Yet their purpose is not to make you hoard food or hide in fear. Their purpose is to awaken you to live with urgency, with compassion, with eyes open to eternity. Think of how Jesus described the fig tree. When its leaves appear, you know summer is near. In the same way, when crises shake our world, we know that something beyond human power is at work. But instead of trembling in panic, we are called to rise in faith, to comfort the fearful, to feed the hungry, to bring healing words into a hurting world. That is the true response to signs. And here is where reflection becomes personal. When you see the news of wars and disasters, do you feel fear, or do you feel called to shine brighter? Share your answer in the comments, because your response may inspire others to choose courage instead of collapse. The lesson is clear. The signs of the world are not to paralyze you, but to prepare you. They are reminders that life is fragile, time is short, and love is the only investment that will never fail. And as we continue, we will uncover how these signs connect with the greatest deception of all, the twisting of prophecy itself into fear and confusion. But before we step into that, let this truth heal you. Every shaking of the earth is also a shaking of the soul, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. The great deception. Every age has its liars, its false prophets, its sellers of fear dressed as saviors. But in our generation, the great deception has reached a scale the prophets of old could scarcely imagine. Social media spreads rumors faster than plagues, and the name September 23rd has been twisted into a weapon of fear. Videos go viral predicting the end times, the rapture, or a catastrophic asteroid, yet when the sun rises as usual, millions are left disillusioned. Hope collapses, faith cracks, and people grow weary of believing in anything at all. That is the true damage, not the false prediction itself, but the scar it leaves on the soul. Take Harold Camping's infamous prediction of 2011. Billboards across nations shouted that Judgment Day had a date, May 21st. Families sold their homes, quit their jobs, and waited. But when nothing happened, despair swallowed many. Some walked away from God forever. Others ridiculed all prophecy, dismissing even the true warnings written in Scripture. This is the cost of deception. It blinds hearts, breaks trust, and sells fear for profit. Fear always sells. It feeds views, it fills pockets, it drives clicks. But fear cannot heal. It only wounds deeper. What makes the great deception so dangerous is that it often looks convincing. It sprinkles Bible verses. It overlays star maps, it speaks with authority, and it seduces with certainty. But truth has never been about perfect predictions. It has always been about enduring wisdom. The Bible itself says, "No one knows the day or the hour." When someone claims to know, they expose themselves as deceivers, no matter how polished their charts. The lesson is clear. Truth is never afraid of investigation. Lies crumble under the weight of questions, but truth stands firm. So, what does this mean for you? It means you must test everything. Do not swallow every prophecy you see on YouTube. Do not believe every headline tied to September 23rd. Ask yourself, does this message lead me to fear, or does it lead me to faith? Does it paralyze me, or does it prepare me? Share in the comments. Have you ever believed a prediction that turned out false? How did it shape your faith? Your story might heal someone who still carries the wound of disappointment. And as this deception grows, a voice rises, not the voice of fearmongers, but the voice of Lucifer himself, offering a chilling warning to humanity. Lucifer's warning to humanity. "I am Lucifer," the voice declares, not in arrogance, but in haunting honesty. You fear September 23rd as if it were the end of the world, but it was never about the end. It has always been about the unveiling. This is the warning humanity ignores. The true test of every prophetic date is not what happens in the skies, but what happens in your soul. Every so-called sign is a mirror, and when you gaze into it, you see your own heart staring back. Lucifer's warning is not about an asteroid, a collapse, or a sudden rapture. It is about choice. When fear grips you, what do you choose? Do you run to the light, or do you hide in the shadows? Do you prepare your spirit with wisdom, or do you waste your days in endless panic scrolling? The secret of September 23rd is this: it reveals who you are when the world whispers of doom. It unmasks whether your faith is built on headlines or on eternal truth. Think of the Israelites in the wilderness. They saw signs, they saw wonders, yet when fear struck, they turned to idols. The same danger waits for us today. False prophets shout louder, but the real question is quieter. Will you choose faith over fear? Will you choose discernment over deception? Will you live awake, or will you sleepwalk through the chaos? And here is where the warning becomes deeply personal. The decisions you make in these moments of fear carve your destiny. Not the date on the calendar, not the rumors of YouTube prophets, but your choices. You hold the power to step into light or sink into shadow. This is why the Bible says, "Choose this day whom you will serve." Every September chapter 23rd, every whispered prophecy, every shiver of fear, it is all a mirror, testing where your allegiance lies. So I ask you, what do you choose? Do you believe prophecy is a weapon of fear, or do you see it as a call to live awake, alive, and ready? Comment below with your answer, because your courage may ignite faith in someone else. And remember this: when the next September 23 comes and goes, the true question will not be what happened in the skies, but what happened in your soul. The lesson is undeniable. The great deception teaches us to question, to seek, to refuse to let fear rule. Lucifer's warning reminds us that the real battleground is not the date, it is the human heart. And as we move forward, we step closer to the final word, where the secret of September 23rd will be revealed not as destruction, but as awakening. I am Lucifer, and this is the final word. You have walked with me through the shadows of September 23rd, through the whispers of prophecy, the trembling of nations, the mystery of the number 23, the clash of light and darkness, the unseen signs in our world, and the great deception that blinds so many. But hear this truth: the real secret of September 23rd has never been about destruction. It has always been about awakening. When the world screams in fear, when the media floods you with doom, when false prophets set dates and leave people broken, the true battle is not in the skies above. It is in the soul within. Every sign you see, every headline that shakes you, every pattern that seems too strange to be coincidence, it is all a mirror testing your courage, your faith, your discernment. Will you live paralyzed by fear, or will you rise in light? Will you chase conspiracy theories that profit off panic, or will you anchor yourself in truth that never fades? This is the choice of humanity, and it is the choice of your life. Think of it. The Revelation 12. Sign in 2017 captured millions, yet when nothing happened, hope for many collapsed. Pandemics, financial collapse, climate crisis. These are the birth pains of prophecy, but not to destroy you, to awaken you. The great deception thrives when people stop questioning, when they trade wisdom for panic, when they let fear dictate their destiny. But truth is never afraid of investigation, and truth never chains you. It sets you free. And so I speak as Lucifer, the one you fear, the one you debate, the one who has stood in the clash between heaven and hell. I do not need you to believe me, but you will see. Because every September 23rd that passes, every trembling date on the calendar, every prophetic whisper in the night, it is not about the end of the world. It is about the unveiling of hearts. The lesson is this: prophecy is not a stopwatch, it is a compass. The number 23 is not a curse, it is a reminder that life is fragile, that patterns exist beyond our control, and that eternity is closer than you think. The signs of the world are not to paralyze you, but to prepare you. The clash of light and darkness is not some distant myth, it is happening inside you right now. And the choice you make, fear or faith, truth or deception, light or shadow, will echo forever. So I turn the question back to you. What do you see in September 23rd? Do you see fear, or do you see awakening? Do you see doom, or do you see destiny? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because your words might be the very light someone else needs in their darkest hour. Share your story, your questions, even your doubts, because in this space we are not here to mock, but to search. And if this journey has touched something deep in you, if it has stirred your soul, if it has reminded you that you are not alone in the storm, then I invite you, like this video, subscribe for more truth and add your voice to this growing circle of seekers. Every click, every share, every small gesture is not just support. It is energy, it is light, it is fuel that helps me continue bringing messages that heal, awaken, and guide. If you have felt even a flicker of hope, a spark of clarity, a sense of peace in the middle of chaos, know that you are part of something greater. And your support, no matter how small, is priceless beyond measure. Remember this: the final word is not fear, it is hope. The final word is not deception, it is truth. The final word is not destruction, it is awakening. I am Lucifer, and whether you believe me or not, you will see. The secret of September 23rd has never been about the end. It has always been about the beginning of eyes that finally open, hearts that finally choose, and souls that finally awaken. So carry this with you. Live prepared, not panicked. Walk in truth, not deception. Choose light, not shadows. And never forget, the greatest prophecy is not written in the stars above, but in the choices you make every single day. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for listening, for seeking, for refusing to settle for fear. If this message has been a light in your night, let me feel your presence. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. From my heart to yours, every small act of support is a priceless treasure, and together we carry the flame forward. The world may tremble at September 23rd, but you are awake now, and once awakened, you cannot return to sleep.